Hello. Today we're going to do a cooling meditation, which is kind of similar to the way dogs pant. Like it's helping to bring fresh air across the tongue, and then we're going to breathe in across the tongue as best we can, and we're going to breathe out through the nose. So we're going to use that tongue and all of the surface area of the tongue to be able to pull a breeze across it. It's obviously wet, and that's going to help cool down the mouth, and with the bloodstream being cooled down, it'll cool down, or cool down to a degree, the rest of the body. And it's no substitute for being really well hydrated in summer, getting in the shade if we're feeling overheated, or seeking out an environment that's more comfortable or more manageable for the body. It's not an excuse to go out and thrash ourselves. We still need to honor and respect. So, saying that, this one can be a little bit tricky. It's a few things can pop up, and I'll go through and explain that now. So the first thing is we want to try to loop the tongue as best we can. So we want to have a circle, like a pipe made out of the tongue that we can pull air through like a straw. And this can take some practice. Just do your best for today. If you can loop your tongue, great. If you can't, we can just kind of make a tight gap and just bring that air between the top lip and the tongue. The key is to get it rolling over the tongue. So what we're doing is we're breathing in across the tongue, however works for us. And breathing out through the nose. Keeping the rest of the body relaxed. The areas that are going to be working for this practice are obviously the tongue and the mouth and the diaphragm. We're pulling from the diaphragm deep into the belly with this breath. And then exhaling through the nose, keeping the shoulders, hips, everything else relaxed. Another thing with the heat is we want to be as energy efficient as possible. So if we're holding tension and cramping, or trying to work where we don't need to work, even if it's mental story work, then that is going to be using more energy, creating heat, helping us to not have so much of a cooling experience. So I want to go into two details with this, now that we've kind of gone through the mechanics of the process. Is another key area, aside from the breathing and the physicals there, is to do this gracefully. If we're feeling like we're building tension in the mouth, that's not it. We need to slow down a little bit, be able to relax a little bit, and gracefully take these breaths. Also, if we're feeling kind of lightheaded, like we're forcing it, that's another invitation to slow down, pace yourself, and just even ease off on the breath a little bit. Just to find that sweet spot. And it really can be a great practice, if for nothing else, just to find that sweet spot of, okay, where are we forcing, where are we slacking off, and is there this sustainable, graceful feeling and graceful engagement that can be held over time. And this is beneficial for many other meditation practices, as well as yogas and everyday life and productivity. Finding that sweet spot where we can be graceful, and then we can sprint or we can rest around that. But this practice isn't about forcing or sprinting. It's about really flying in that sweet spot. And another thing that I wanted to share as well is, I mentioned briefly about the mind consuming a lot of energy. This practice is a really beautiful way, an invitation to be able to just conserve energy. So that means relaxing the mind and noticing in the case of this practice, if we might want to tell this story or do a comparison about how cool or warm we feel, we can do that at the end of the practice if we really feel the need. But through the practice, if you feel the urge to tell a story or to intellectualize the process, that's not the point of this practice. So just let go of that, come back to the breath, come back to like not even the story about how graceful is this breath, just coming physically into that sweet spot of just being able to take in that straw breath in a way that just feels relaxed and graceful in the moment. No rush. We don't care how long or how short this breath is. We're just loving ourselves through the process as it is and just allowing grace to be found, allowing ourselves to fall into that sweet spot of sustainability. Whew. For a short session, I've talked a lot. So let's get into the practice. Just relaxing our hips and shoulders. Just getting the tongue ready. And just slowly in your own time starting to breathe through the loop of the tongue. Exhaling through the nose, relaxing the rest of the body. Diaphragm and mouth are the only things working here. Gentle, graceful, allowing the jaw and tongue to do this in a relaxed way, allowing the diaphragm to gently pull that breath. Staying with this moment gently, gracefully, in your own time. Allowing the practice to be a relaxed flow. gentle, relaxed awareness to stay with the process, stay with this experience in this moment. Allowing ourselves to stay open to the inhale and the exhale, each movement, each experience. And taking a few more long, deep, graceful breaths. Really relaxing into these breaths, giving it all our focus without forcing. Simply being here with the breath. And on the next inhale, just holding that, reaching up with the top of the head. And relaxing, letting go of the breath, letting the go of needing to do anything but be here, simply being. You might notice how the body feels now. You might notice how our mental state feels now. might notice your level of relaxation now. Noticing how the breath and the body feel. As we just allow the body to breathe naturally. Allowing the body to sit in this seat. And noticing if there's any adjustments or movements, stretches the body's asking for. Just gently and gracefully honoring the body's request. Slowly enough that we can keep that gentleness that we've built through the morning practice. That relaxation and, at the end of the day, efficiency that we've got here. This kind of efficiency can help us to be more clear. It can help us to gently and sustainably focus, help us to conserve energy, and help us to have fun through our day. And let's just see how we go about gracefully flowing out of this seated practice and into whatever this day brings us. See how it naturally unfolds into the day. And it may even act as a way to remind us of what we're holding or the state that we want to flow in during the day as well. And it only takes 1 or 2 breaths to come back to that state and flow with it once we have some practice. So gently opening up your eyes, coming back to the space. Thank you, body. It's really, really powerful for me doing this practice to find that kind of listening place to the body and really honoring it and taking some proactive action to give it some care so things can flow through the day. We really are a team, and we're collaborating in this life together, so it's nice to be able to really honor all of these parts of ourselves. So thank you so much for joining us. I hope the cooling flow continues for you through the day, and I hope you have just a beautiful, fantastic week. Love you guys. See ya.